I would now like to turn to His Excellency Philip Pierre, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, who is also speaking on behalf or as chair of CARICOM.
Thank you. Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, what does it mean to hold the pessimism of climate disaster and optimism of climate action together? For too many decades, the member states of CARICOM have had to endure the task of pushing the climate disaster boulder up the mountain of climate ambition. We raised the alarm in the 90s. In the decades that followed, we put a human face on what was an esoteric scientific debate. We have been attempting to push multilateral negotiations towards conclusions that would save lives and livelihoods and safeguard the very existence of our member states. We have grown weary of telling the world and the major emitters that climate change is an urgent problem. It's an existential threat, that it is the defining challenge of our times. Our member states are leading the way in advancing adaptation and resilience initiatives. We continue to strengthen our renewable energy transitions and efforts to combat coastal erosion, sea level rise, and freshwater and agricultural challenges. But the climate continues to change. The threat continues to grow, and our member states continue to face an uncertain, potentially dangerous future. This deepening climate crisis cannot continue to receive a response from the major emitters that amounts to a reckless disregard of the consequences and obligations of their actions. The current instrumentalism, lack of ambition, and multilateral gridlock must be broken in the interest of our small island developing states, the vulnerable developing nations, and the countries with a genuine interest in the success of solving our climate crisis. And success has a clear definition. Emission targets that ensure global temperatures increases below 1.5 degrees Celsius in relation to pre-industrial levels. Urgent, predictable, new and easily acceptable adaptation financing whose parameters will be determined by the needs of those most affected, and the delivery of pledges and commitments made. More precisely for CARICOM member states, success will require greater ambition to the 1.5 degrees centigrade goal from major emitters, with science driving all decision-making on climate change, emphasizing the need for those who cause the problem to take responsibility and leadership in addressing it. The authorization of the Loss and Damage Fund and its funding arrangements at COP28 in the face of ever-growing impacts on small island developing states. Systematic approaches for debt relief for CARICOM member states in the context of unlocking new sources of finance for climate action and sustainable development, including for robust work on vulnerability indices. Target support for CARICOM member states to implement the nationally determined contributions, NDCs, and adaptation plans, as well as to support the just transitions for member states. The inclusion of the Bridgetown Initiative as a new agenda item for the 5th meeting of the Conference of Parties, serving as the meeting of the parties to the Paris Agreement and COP28. The identification of strategic areas for technical support available amongst CARICOM institutions that can assist member states with implementation and resource mobilization. Ensuring that both the political and technical outcomes of the global stocktake serves the purpose of correcting our course towards meeting all of the Paris Agreement goals. The Secretary General's acceleration agenda provides us with a pathway to success, an avenue to fast-track climate action in every country, every sector, and in every time frame. CARICOM will continue to support this agenda and work with all to accelerate the pace and scale of a just transition to a more equitable, renewable, energy-based, climate-resilient global economy. CARICOM's ambitions in the face of this climate crisis are to safeguard our people, to develop sustainability, and to thrive. But we will never be able to achieve these goals in the absence of robust ambition and deliverable action from those who have the means and the responsibility to change and correct the cause of this crisis. I thank you.